Saurabh. Thanks for being here. It's finally good to take a break from our regular meetings and talk about the work that we've been doing. So let's start by telling people, what does our team do at Cashfree?
Yeah, absolutely, Mayank. So we've been working on cross-border payment stack from almost a couple of years now. We started off by catering to payments needs of our Indian merchants. So we have a lot of merchants to whom we provide payment collection capabilities wherein they collect payment from Indian customers. As the market has grown over the years, now they have started seeing a lot of use cases which are emerging out of international geographies, wherein they started catering to international customers as well. So that is one area which we started off about 2 years ago. We were providing them capabilities through which they can collect payments using multi-currency accounts, international cards. So that is something which has grown a lot over the course of last 2 years. Last 1 year has been about focusing upon the payment requirement needs of international merchants, wherein a lot of companies who have started focusing upon in the Indian market from last few years, they actively reach out to us and ask us how do we collect payment from Indian customers. So that is where we are trying to figure out solutions for them, and that way they can scale the business in India. So yeah, that has been the focus area.
And you missed the obvious point that we banter a lot about the API parameters and how the dashboard filters should look like.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. So you mentioned that there is a lot of interest for collecting payments from Indian customers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why such a sudden excitement globally about collecting payments from India, and why now?
Yeah. So to understand this a bit better, let's go and gather some historical context. So let's talk about 2010. That is when smartphones started becoming popular in India. Also the time when companies such as Flipkart, Amazon started growing as well in India. Then came 2015, wherein Jio came in and the major international internet revolution started happening in India, right? At the same time, in 2016, UPI was launched. Now, if we fast forward 2 years after that, 2020, that's where we hit pandemic and people seriously started using online payments. They started making a lot of online purchases, a lot of no-touch deliveries started happening at that point in time. People reduced using cash. In last 12 years, with all of these events happening, we have seen major internet penetration which has happened in India. Close to 800 million people in India today have access to internet. 1 in every 2 people, that is about 400 million people, have access to UPI payments, which is almost about European Union to say. So yeah, over the course of last 15 years, a lot of things have changed. Consumption in India has also improved a lot. Our per capita consumption has doubled in last 15 odd years. If we just adjust it by inflation, then it has grown by about 30%, which is a significant number, right, so to speak. So India is ready to consume. That essentially means India is not only ready to consume from Indian merchants, at the same time India is ready to purchase from global companies. We recently saw how good of an interest Tesla received when they launched their product in India, right? So yeah, so India is ready to consume not only from India, but from the global markets.
That's interesting. I think we were also discussing about this, and a common thing that we discussed that I think both our families, I think our parents are reluctant to do online shopping, and I think how that has changed. Maybe at least my dad is probably now spending more on e-commerce than, let's say, the rest of us. So yeah, I agree to that, the shift that is happening. I think if I look into my sort of purchase history, I can relate to the point that you mentioned. Earlier, buying from a global merchant would be limited to, let's say, a couple of niche tools, because I'm an engineer, would subscribe to some SaaS tool, or let's say occasional e-commerce purchase. I think that has shifted now. I'm probably paying for a couple of newsletters authored by somebody sitting in the US, all the AI tools coming in. So I think like I can also see the shift in my purchase patterns. According to you, what are the other categories that you see that has sort of seen an uptick in terms of consumers in India?
So traditionally it was majorly about e-commerce. A lot of goods, be it cosmetics, be it merchandise, people started purchasing from international companies or international marketplaces. So that is how it started off. But recently we have seen a lot of interest coming in digital and SaaS space as well. With the advancement in AI, a lot of companies are emerging, not only from India, from various parts of the world. And a lot of time the misconception is that it is only the West. It's a lot of Southeast Asian market, European market, who have also started coming to India now. At Cashfree as well, we have few European as well as Southeast Asian companies who are doing really, really good and selling to Indian consumers, collecting payments via the local payment methods. So that is the second space. Besides that, there is a lot of advancement has happened on edtech as well. So in the last 5-7 years, we have seen a lot of companies globally have started creating content. And nowadays, one thing which has changed is that we have developed a lot of common interests. So it is not about that India has a particular interest and Western market has a particular interest. We have a lot of common interests. So a company based out of somewhere in Europe would not only create for European market, but the same content can be sold to Indian consumers as well as someone who is based out of US, right? So that is one more area, content streaming, content consumption. We are seeing a lot of interest coming lately.
Got it. So let's maybe go a few years back in the timeline. Somebody sitting in the US, what is a typical model for them to start accepting money from India?
Yeah. So traditionally, if we look at the typically company used to send someone from their leadership to the respective market, ask them to do a lot of research about the market, understand regulation, taxation and payments, etc. and give a feedback and probably launch operations over there. And that's how they typically launch products or services in the market, right? So this is the model one, which companies used to use.
So basically set up a local entity,
yes,
have a mirror or a separate entity purely working on operations out of India and also accepting from that accepting payments from that entity.
Yes,
Makes sense. Okay.
Yes. So that is model one. In model two, they would not do that. What they will do is they will essentially do a soft launch in a market wherein they will start marketing their product or services in the respective market through various channels and start selling those services or products to the end consumers and probably collect payment using international rails.
Got it.
Right. So this is model two. This is something which is very popular amongst the digital and SaaS companies lately. And since starting 2015, this is the typical model which companies used to take to launch their product in new markets.
Got it. And I, as a consumer, like to me, it feels like I can make payment using cards. Like that is where the foreign rails come into play. So from a consumer point of view, it looks like the problem is solved. Like they can just stay. This to me seems like a very scalable way of launching into new markets.
Yeah.
But is there something missing from a business point of view? Like why is not every business able to do that, tap into the Indian revenue with just a single click of a button on their side?
So it looks easy if we look at it from outside, and that is what my thought process was as well before I started interacting with a lot of companies who are either currently have a business in India or are planning to set up a business in India. But there are a lot of operational as well as regulatory challenges which they come across. At the same time, they are not able to deliver optimal customer experience as well. Now we were talking about customer, right? So now if I am a Indian customer using my credit card or debit card to make payment, by the way, that is the only payment method which I can use if someone is using international rails to collect payments, right? Especially from an online payment point of view. Now, first of all, I need to have my international payments enabled on my card. And by default, whenever we receive a card from our bank, that is not enabled, right? So a lot of times, whenever somebody makes a first attempt to make payment, it will fail. And unfortunately, they do not receive a right feedback as well from their merchant or the payment partner which the merchant is using, and they are clueless why they are not able to make the payments. So that is the struggle one. Struggle two is, which has recently come to our attention, is that whenever I'm making payment, especially if the merchant is using the international rails, then as a consumer, I pay a premium on top of it, right? I end up paying, let's say, 1%, 2% of the transaction amount.
I thought this would always be the merchant who's getting charged higher. You are saying that if I am using a customer card on an international merchant,
yes,
even I have to pay something additionally?
Yes.
Oh,
and this is something like which is very India specific, and I don't know the reasons, to be honest, but this is what it is, and that essentially means if you're making a payment of 100 rupees, you'll end up paying 102, right? So not a good consumer experience, because a lot of time when they look at their bank statements, they are clueless, and often they think it is the merchant who has charged them the higher amount, right? So there are a lot of struggles also from an Indian consumer point of view, right? If they use their cards.
You did touch upon a point that it's only the cards that are available via this international rails. So if we expand, and cards has its own fundamental challenges, are there any other nuances? Like I think you mentioned card as a payment method. Are there any more nuances or a playbook that you have to put, like what other businesses are not doing in the right way, that might be useful for people who want to start accepting from India beyond the cards part?
So, and it is something which is a 101 of product management, or whenever you are selling to someone, you need to understand who your consumer is, how they make their purchase decisions, during the purchase, how they interact with your like dashboard or app. More than 80% of payments in India today happens through UPI, right? Only handful of sub 10% payments today happens via cards, right? Indian consumer is very, very comfortable using their UPI, they're using the net banking for higher size payments. At the same time, cards they may use, they may not use, and especially if they are transacting on an unknown merchant or probably someone who is they're not familiar with, they would want to probably use UPI where they have more confidence and more practice to make payments of, right? And now if I am an international company collecting payment from Indian customer and not giving an option to the consumer to make payment using the ways which they are very comfortable with, that essentially could lead to a lot of drop-offs, right? When we launched this product wherein we are providing local payment collection capabilities to international merchants, we started understanding and learning from merchants how it is impacting their conversion funnel. You will be surprised, some of our merchants have reported that after the launch of local payment methods, they've seen the improvement in conversion somewhere around 20-25%, right? So just by providing right or expanded payment methods to the consumer, merchants are able to improve the entire conversion funnel, right? So that is a kind of impact it can definitely make. At the same time, there are a lot of capabilities which are there, which are innovated over the years and are available out of the box, such as no cost EMI or EMI payments for that matter. So that is something which we as an Indian payment gateway who has the capability to serve international merchants can provide out of the box to an international merchants who come to India for their product or services.
Got it. So just shifting gears from like, okay, there's a playbook out there. Can we talk to the audience about like what we have built that sort of aligns well with this playbook and can help them launch faster and in a more efficient manner?
Yeah. So over the course of last 1.5 years, we have interacted with a lot of foreign entities, and just to give you more flavor, we have not only interacted with foreign companies who want to sell in India, we have also spoken to a lot of foreign payment aggregators. We have spoken to a lot of foreign marketplaces because PACB regime allows us to not only sell to foreign companies who are selling in Indian market, but it also allows us to provide this solution to foreign marketplaces or foreign payment aggregators who in turn can then distribute our solution to their merchant base, right? So that is where our focus have been to understand the complete ecosystem. And after having a lot of interaction, we identified the key pain areas, and of course not having a optimal conversion on the checkout page was one of the problem statement which they highlighted. That is where we brought in the local payment methods flavor, and we started providing this capability to them. Just to summarize, now if I'm a foreign company, started off in US, now I want to expand into Indian market, I can come to Cashfree, I can get onboarded myself into Cashfree in just 24 to 48 hours. It's a completely self-serve product which we have built. They can just come and provide few KYC related information. We activate their product within 24 to 48 hours. As soon as we activate our product, they can start using the product. We have no code solution available, so they can start sending out payment links to their customers. They can create a payment form using our product. At the same time, if they want to have a completely deep integration with us, then we have all the APIs, webhooks available at their disposal to integrate it. Typically it takes about 7 to 15 days for a merchant to integrate with our product, and they can seamlessly start collecting payment from Indian customers in INR. While we collect funds in INR, at the same time we understand that these merchants or these companies cannot accept settlement from Cashfree in INR, right? At the same time, to address this problem, we have partnered with Indian banks as well as MNC banks to make settlements into their bank account in the desired currency. So if somebody wants it in USD, we can settle it in USD. Somebody wants it in GBP, we can settle it in GBP. So we have the capability to settle more than 40 currencies currently. And of course, if anyone has any particular currency interest, then we can also explore that. All of this is done with complete transparency. Merchant has complete clarity upon the forex exchange rate which we are using to convert INR into a foreign currency. There are no hidden costs or markups. We have a very well-defined fees which we lay out to the merchant well in advance when they come to us. That way they are able to seamlessly provide payment capabilities to their end customers. At the same time, from an internal operations point of view, they have the seamless product of Cashfree to collect payments, easily reconcile, and expand business. So what we essentially want is merchants to focus on the core offering, their core business, and offload their payment headache to Cashfree. That is where we bring value in the entire value chain.